How you guys doing today? Welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at the Launchzone Launchpad, and in particular, is this Launchpad still doing well in this bear market? We all know that Launchzone was a very interesting choice with a lot of very valuable projects, but times have changed and it's time for an in-depth review. So if that's what you're looking for, let's get into all the information we need to know in order to find out if we should invest or not. So stay tuned, let's get into this. Alright, you guys, thanks so much for joining me again today. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We're crushing the 800 subscribers soon. We'd love to have you there. Really appreciate the help. And also note down, I'm not a financial advisor, little disclaimer there. So let's get started with Launchzone. Now Launchzone, it is quite a complicated launchpad. There's a lot of utility on the website. The tiered system is not how it is in all of the other launchpads. There's a lot of different rounds, so it can be quite overwhelming if you're just getting into this launchpad. So I'm going to talk you guys step for step how everything works, and we're going to do a review on if it's still relevant, yes or no. So starting off, Launchzone has a bunch of stuff on their website. They have an exchange, they have a launchpad, of course, swapping and everything like that. Control your assets in the most effective way. So we're not going to zoom in on those things, but just know that they are available on the platform if you are interested. We, however, are going to move over to the pad, which is where we can invest in early crypto projects. Now, Launchzone has had a very good track record. In the early days, which is for them 2021, near the end of the bull run, they had a very good run. We saw a lot of money getting into this launchpad, lots of trading volume, and the token reached up to nearly $8. Around this time, there were lots of projects launching on Launchzone, very good quantity, very good quality, and the projects were just dropping from the sky like it was nothing. So Launchzone, ever since then, just like any launchpad, has dropped significantly in both price and trading volume, apart from a couple of spikes around here where the trading volume shot up, the overall quality here went down. The same can be said from the amount of pools launched on Launchzone. Upcoming pools, as you can see, are completely empty. During the bull run, this was easily around 4 or 5 upcoming pools at least. Now that is much less. Very disappointing, of course, but is that enough to say, okay, we're not going to invest into Launchzone anymore? Well, I would like to bet that it is different than that, right? All of the launchpads are suffering. Engine Starter, one of my favorite launchpads, is having a really rough time. Am I not going to invest into Engine Starter anymore just because of that? No. So things go a little bit deeper than that. To really find out what the current status is of Launchzone, we're going to have to find out in the white paper and over on their Twitter. Moving on though, first we're going to look at the featured pools, the ones that already ended, to look at the quality of their most recent projects. Now I want to start with Neneko because this is something we have been very bullish about on this channel, something we even made a review video about. And Neneko was exclusively launched over on Launchzone. And I personally think that Neneko is one of the biggest crypto gems this bear. And they were launched all the way back in November of 2021 on Launchzone, but the fact that they had a basically monopoly on Neneko as the only launchpad that launched this project, I'm very bullish about that. And like I said before, Neneko is definitely a up-and-coming crypto gem. So that is just one of the many examples of great launches done and facilitated through Launchzone. Now again, this is a somewhat older project, so let's look at more recent pools done by Launchzone. One of them is Moans. Now, Moans had a bit of a rough start, immediately diving below its TGE price. The all-time high was at minus 37%. It's now at minus 40%. Also exclusively launched by Launchzone. And as you can see here, the lockup is 100% TGE. So it makes sense with this particular IDO that the price immediately went down. If you give someone 100% TGE, unless there is immense utility to the token, they're just going to sell the token off right away, which is exactly what happened. Even if there is a lot of utility, 100% TGE is not something to advise. And yeah, clearly this didn't go quite to plan. Now this, mind you, was in June of 2022. 100% TGE in a bear market, that is scary stuff. Regardless though, the token has gone up after this and is right now on the rise, getting close to getting back to its original TGE price. So there's a lot of people very bullish on this project who are convinced that this project will get back to its TGE and that the profits will eventually be made. There is a high value and the fully diluted market cap is 3.2 million, so I can see that happening. So this project was, for bear market standards, actually quite decent. Especially, you gotta take into account that this was 100% TGE, and usually 100% TGEs in bear markets don't perform very well, but in time these tend to go better and better and better if the project is of high quality. Now, if Mons is high quality, I have to admit I don't know for sure. I don't know the project that well, but I do know that it has some major hype. Lots of people have it on their watch list, and it's definitely an interesting project, once again exclusively done by Launchzone. Now we have a bunch of other launches to take a look at, just for your reference, like how has Launchzone been doing these past couple months. Now here we see some more green numbers, which again is quite rare in these bear runs, right? We are seeing very, very negative projects everywhere, so it's interesting to see Launchzone having some good launches in there despite the market conditions as of right now. Look at this, 2.25x. That is 125% return on your investment. And even right now, there is still a 15% return on this Plant Empires IDO. Now, this was again 100% at TGE. So that means that most investors got roughly 125% gain, which is, like I said, really good returns. Now, Launchzone did a rather small pool overall. The private sale was a lot bigger though. I'm not sure if they did a private pool also or just the public pool. It looks here like, what is this? Does it say what pool they did? Start investing. No, I don't think they say. Oh, it's the public round. So they only did the public round. So a very small pool. Nevertheless, though, pretty good results over there. Then we have another example project, which is MetaBomb, also fairly recent from this April. So again, another bear market IDO. How did this one perform, you ask? Well, pretty good all-time high at roughly 3x. And again, we're seeing 100% TGE. So that the ROI right now is at minus 76% is quite irrelevant, right? At 100% TGE, we are only looking at all-time high because that is roughly where the investors are going to be selling their tokens. Quite a large raise here, 350K. And well, I mean, again, the current ROI is not really relevant for this one, as most investors probably sold their tokens at TGE and got a pretty good reward in return for that. Now, there was also a private round again with also 100% at the TGE. So this is another positive project that went fairly well. So we're on track here, right? We've had two projects that were quite all right, one project that could have done better but is on track to making some profits, and then from the previous bull run we've also seen the Neko, which of course I'm very bullish on. So thus far, Launchzone is proving to really get those good projects even during the bear market. And during the bull run, they also had a very high quantity of projects coming in. Now, however, that is of course much less, and that is unfortunate, but market conditions simply don't allow many good projects to enter the market. So regardless, though, they do launches every now and again, roughly once a month. They do have a project ready for its community. So there's still launches happening, and the overall quality compared to other launchpads is actually above average. And their track record from earlier during the bull runs is very spectacular and definitely one of my favorite launchpads thus far. Now, the pools, they're mostly filling them up. As you can see, all of these are quite well filled up. They do have a couple of of projects that haven't done so great. Most of these are during the bear market, of course, but the vast majority is either 80 to 100% filled up, again showing that there is a pretty large backbone still in Launchzone, and a lot of people are still investing into these projects and actively hold tokens and allocations on Launchzone. All right, that's enough about the projects. Let's go ahead and move into the white paper tokenomics and the tiers to find out how to get started with Launchzone and how much we'll roughly be paying to get into these tiers. So let's get started. So I'm going to start the white paper kind of halfway in. I'm going to start at the tiered system. Now, there are 4 rounds. I was almost going to say 3, but there's 4 different rounds over on Launchzone. So to really understand how to get started, we're going to have to read all of this to really truly grasp what the tier system and all of that is. So there are a total of 4 IDO rounds, which allows more investors to participate in the token sale event. IDO is hosted by Launchpad. Round 1 is the Diamond Hand round. Round 2 will be the LZ backer round. Round 3 will be the whitelist social round, and round 4 will be the FCFS round. Design for each round is as followed. We're going to go over each round now to understand what they are. The first one is, in the new allocation scheme, everyone who locks LZ on LZPad will be able to claim an allocation proportionally to their share of locked tickets. Therefore, we changed the name to this round to Diamond Hand Round. BSCex tickets owners remain qualified for the upcoming IDO. Each wallet can lock LZ in maximum 20 batches. The amount of LZ be locked in each batch is unlimited. The locked LZ will be automatically unlocked exactly 6 months from the lock date. But if users lock their LZ in different batches, each batch will be unlocked at a different time and date. And then we have the LZ back round, which is for rewarding longer old-time investors with a separate round. To join the LZ back round, users must have staked LZ USD, LZ USDT, and or LZ USDC LP tokens in the Sourbot on Telegram. So this is also require you to stake these tokens, but mostly directed at long-term investors and backers of the Launchzone Launchpad. Then we have the whitelisted social rounds. We will select randomly from the list of successfully whitelisted registered users to pick out the winners of the whitelist social round. The list of whitelisted social round winners will be announced before the IDO. So this is much of the, well, let's call it the lottery round. Everyone who has whitelisted for the IDO will then be randomly picked to have a chance at getting that allocation. So it's kind of just a lottery round for the most part. There's only one guaranteed allocated round in Launchzone anyways, which is the Diamond Hand round. Then we have the whitelisted FCFS round, which is the remaining successful whitelist registers can join with the whitelisted FCSF round. The list of whitelisted FCFS round participants will be announced before the IDO. IDO on LZPad will have a total of 4 IDO rounds. And we have one with a guaranteed spot. Oh, we have 2 nowadays, which is the LZ backer round is also a guaranteed spot. So there's 2 guaranteed allocations, and 2, well, LZ whitelisted social round as well, but they say guaranteed spots. Well, I mean, they just said over here that they will randomly pick from a pool of whitelisted individuals. So I don't see how that is fully guaranteed. And then, of course, we do have the LZ whitelisted FCFS round, which is first come, first serve. So that is clearly not guaranteed allocated either. Now, how do you actually participate in the IDOs? Normally, all pools are distributed on a first come, first serve basis. We therefore advise you to claim your tokens as soon as possible. Step-by-step guide on how to follow to participate in the IDO is here. So a lot of this, again, is FCFS, so you're gonna have to be quick, you're gonna have to be on top of everything, so make sure that you are following their Telegram, their Twitter, etc., so that you don't miss out on IDO dates, etc., so you don't miss out, right? It's first come, first serve, so make sure that you are first. That's actually a really important part in the Launchzone Launchpad. Okay, let's move over to the beginning of the white paper now to read all the rest as well. Here's the table of contents and a quick introduction. Nothing important here apart from the fact that they launched in December 2020. on the BSCex Ecosystem, a decentralized non-custodial cryptocurrency exchange. And from there on, they continue to build out their ecosystem. Token introduction and token merge. LZ and LZP. The native governance and utility token of the newly integrated Launchzone ecosystem is LZ. We promised to support a sustainable growth and migrate inflation by completing the manual burns of LZ on a regular basis. They talk about the token merge and why they are multi-chain. Now, again, the fact that they are a multi-chain Launchpad has many different benefits, not only because cross-chain is the future, and in a couple of months or years, it is going to be the norm, the golden standard. So it's good that they've already integrated multi-chain. It's also very nice for the investors, as you will be not limited to one chain of investing. Rather, you will be able to invest in any chain that you would like, and you don't have to miss out on any of these good projects that may be launching on different chains. So cross-chain is definitely one of the USPs of Launchzone. For the rest, we have the LZ pool, and the LZ pad, the LZ wallet, LZDEX, BSC Army, and the sewing network. Okay, now over here we have the tokenomics, which of course is absolutely the most important part of this entire white paper. So let's go over this. The token specification. Spec is BAP20, of course, with the ticker being LZ. The deflationary mechanism will be the following: 1% to be sent to the foundation wallet, 1% to be burned, 2% for marketing, 2% to add liquidity, to the liquidity pool. And here they have the wallet where it will be sent to. Every transaction of LZ incurs a 6% tax, and a Launchzone team will manually burn LZ every week. So they will do it manually. There's not going to be any mistakes there, and they take good care of the burning mechanism. Of course, important to maintain the price high. Of course, utility is the most important factor of that, but a burning mechanism is more of an assistant that will help the token retain its prices, which is very important if you're a holder, and in a Launchpad you tend to be a holder in order to gain access to the allocations. So this is the deflationary mechanism. The LZP token, reducing block commissions, reducing the amount of LZP made per block, deflationary mechanism, regular token burns, and manual burns when needed. Keep this in mind, that the team will burn whenever they feel like it is needed. So they will, and it's right there in the white paper, systematically influence the price where they seem fit. That can have positive effect, that can have negative effects. Regardless, from an investment point of view, it's important to keep in mind and easy to overread when going over the white paper. But they also just have regular token burns also. Then the deflationary mechanism is put in here again. I don't know why they duplicated that. And then we have here the LZ key use cases. What can you use the LZ token for? Of course, the paying transaction fees for the pool, the swap, the DEX, and the vault. Paying fees for limited order, farming and staking, not quite a utility in my opinion, but it's still something you can use it for. Farming and staking locked for IDO participation, holding LZ to become members of our exclusive group, LZ Platinum, locking LZ/BUSD LP to secure better advertisement on LZ media sites. All right, so this is the use cases for the token. I would say it's not strong, it's not weak either. There's plenty to do with the token. There's good utility. I feel like farming and staking, not really an actual utility, and all these transaction fees over here, they make it look like there's a lot of utility. There's not a lot, but there's definitely enough to sustain price, particularly because there's also a deflationary mechanism in place, both regularly but also manually, to systematically keep the price relatively high. Then over here, we finally have the roadmap, also a more important part of the project. I don't like how this roadmap is done though. We don't really have any dates, and yeah, it's just a bit difficult to read. We're gonna do our best though. So Launchzone's mission is to offer users a full spectrum of DeFi services on one platform. Our new roadmap includes the following major milestones: the upgraded LZ Swap limited order, migrated to LZ Finance, merge ZSeed and Zcash to LZP, launch 1 million bounty campaign for LZP holders, merge, you know what, you can read it. It's a lot of just small things actually. This is all cross-chain mitigations, right? Bridge LZ to Avalanche and enabled farming on Avalanche. So this is furthering the cross-chain ability on the Launchzone. Bridge to near pool vault. Enable cross-chain swapping. So most of this is actually just cross-chain enabling with a bunch of small updates and migrations. Here you have the roadmap upgrade with the LZ Swap, wallet, X campaign, bridge and farming, and the merge of tokens. And for the rest, that's about it over there. Here you have a couple of tutorials on all that. LZ Swap, this is one of the utilities on their site, right? You have the exchange. You'll be able to exchange and swap around tokens. And this is a automated market maker, AMMs, and LZ Swap. Now they have a little bit of a mock-up. It's not that difficult really. You go to exchange or anything like that, and from here you will be able to connect your wallet and swap tokens, which whatever you like, right? It can go to BUSD, it can go to any other token really, and for that you can use, if you want, the Launchzone token, which is the native token of the Launchpad, or any other token really. You have your graphs here, everything is nice and neat. So they explain it in the white paper. I think it's pretty simple overall. Over here we have some more information regarding the mobile app and the swap to earn. This is actually pretty interesting. There will be a swap to earn mechanism in Launchzone. For every trade you make in LZ Swap, you will receive LZP in rewards. The more you swap, the more you earn. Now keep in mind that there will be transfer fees, so I don't feel like you can get rich by swapping, but it will be an additional earning mechanism on Launchzone, which is also quite unique actually. So what can I say? I like it. I'm a fan of that. They don't really go into detail on how they do it. They do have a little note here. 80% of LZP rewards will be locked. You will need to provide liquidity for LZP to unlock all rewards. So this is actually a very important note. So you will get rewards, but only 20% unless you have locked your tokens. Now you're going to want to lock your tokens anyways in order to get access to, staking rewards, these rewards, and of course the allocation. So staking these tokens is almost necessary on Launchzone to really make profits. Here we have the limited orders. What is the benefit of LZ Swap limited orders? Should volatility rise during the time of swapping, especially for low quality liquidity pairs, limited orders function will drastically reduce slippage and guarantee a lower price impact. Then here we have a little bit about how to use LZ Swap limited orders. And this is just a 6-step guide on how to go about your business and use the limited orders. Quite simple overall. Here's how to lock your LZ, and yeah, most of this all is just tutorials. You can read it if you want. I feel like Launchzone is not the best at explaining how it works, but overall I think we got a pretty good grasp on how this all works, right? So that is all for the Launchzone website and the Launchzone white paper. I think we know pretty much everything here. So let's move over to the price, start looking at the current situation of the token and the future predictions of Launchzone. So looking at the token right now, we can see that it pretty much went down from its all-time high quite drastically. Again, its all-time high was earlier, a couple months ago, about a year ago, end of 2021, which was also the end of the last bull run we had. Token reached up to around $8-ish. After that, they moved down again. And right now, the current price is at 20 cents. So if you held the token at the all-time high, I really hope you don't anymore because the price significantly reduced itself. Now, the big question, of course, is has the price the potential, does it have the potential to go back up again to its former highs, or at least something like that? Well, before we discuss that, I would like to point out that the current allocations are so much cheaper now that the price is this low. So it could be an interesting option to buy, even though we're not sure if the price is going to go up. It's an easy point of entry. Launchzone has an amazing track record, and when the market gets more bullish, and the price will go up or not, at least you will have a cheap allocation to get started investing in these projects. And as we saw before, Launchzone, even during this bear market, has a decent amount of projects that they're launching with relative good successes. And they have survived thus far. They're still surviving. If you're there, if you're around, when the bull run finally does hit, you're going to be able to use your cheap allocation to invest in great projects. They've done it in the first bull run. They'll likely be able to do it in the second one, and they'll likely make it all the way over to the second bull run because they've been performing quite well compared to other Launchpad thus far this bear market. So things are looking quite positive. As for the sentiment over on CoinMarketCap, it's quite divided. We have our bearish sentiments, we have our bullish sentiments. I do have to say that a lot of these bearish sentiments just say scam, and I feel like that is just not deserved whatsoever, right? Me personally, I've never invested, I've never used Launchzone, but I have, right? We at Digits have used it quite a lot in the last bull run, and it was just a really strong, powerful launch pad that we as a alpha community made so much profits with. I know a lot of investors that are still using Launchzone, so to call it a scam, that's just not what it is. There's so many scams out there. Launchzone just doesn't strike me as a scam. They've done so much good. They're still pumping out good projects. So a scam, no. But you're right, these bearish comments, they're popping up because every launchpad is bleeding, including Launchzone, but it's not necessarily because of the launchpad itself. It's mostly due to market conditions at the moment. So let's start speculating. What is the price going to be doing in the near future? Well, if we look at the market cap, we can see that it is incredibly small. It is at 450K, and the fully diluted market cap is at 4.1 million. The volume is quite high at $44,000 every 24 hours, and that is 10% down from the other 24 hours, which was then arguably much higher, above 50K. So overall, what we can say with quite a lot of certainty is that there is a big opportunity here, right? With such a low market cap, that means that there's a lot of potential for growth when market conditions go a little bit better into the right direction. So especially considering that Launchzone already has a very good track record, a good backbone of a community, and is actually still launching valuable projects right now, it gives me a lot of security that Launchzone has the opportunity, has the potential to do it again. There are some red flags though. The first red flags, of course, is the watch list. This is clearly completely botted, as it is at 9 million. Well, clearly that is not the case. Other red flags, of course, are that the price has been completely flatlined for a while, and the fact that there are no current projects. So yes, I'm very bullish on one hand, but I'm keeping that I'm a bit bearish at the same time, to put it that way. So overall, my judgment would be, look, Launchzone has huge potential, and they're actually faring pretty well in this bear run. But I want to wait and see what other projects are they going to be launching on their pad. I think that is something very important before making an investment decision. Are they going to have any upcoming pulls in the next 2 months? And if they are, what type of projects are they? Are they high quality or are they not? If they are high quality and they do post another project in the next 2 months, then I would personally say that Launchzone is still kicking it and they still have that solid team vetting these projects. And then I would say, hey, low price, good entry point. If they don't push out any more projects, or the projects that they do push out are garbage, then we can safely say that Launchzone at the moment is just not a safe bet. But again, looking at this low market cap, if market conditions go better, man, we can see some huge gains. And if you're asking me personally, again, not financial advice, none of it what I'm saying is financial advice, but if you're asking me personally, what could be the overall max potential of a Launchzone token price? Well, I think LZ could easily get back to their all-time high, or perhaps even $10 if the market condition allows it. Right now it doesn't, and with the current inflation being what it is, I don't see that happening anytime soon. but we're looking at this from a future perspective, and getting in right now at, well, pretty much its all-time low might be a good opportunity. Me personally, I'm waiting to see what the latest launches are going to bring. If that's positive, I'm in. If it's negative, I'm out. So what do you guys think? Are you agreeing with my tactic or not? Let me know. Do you agree with my stance on Launchzone? Quite bullish, but still waiting to see what's up, what's going on. Let me know again. Please make sure to like and subscribe. We went over Launchzone in great detail, and I will be back with this project if there's any news to talk about again. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, for tuning in again. Really do appreciate that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao, ciao, bye-bye. Take care.